Audio test 1, 2. Make sure my stream is live. And which mic is this? Testing 1, 2. Okay, perfect. I'm going to start messing around here. And go through some. Hang on 1 second. Pull up the right window here. I got too many monitors. First world IT problems, eh? Okay. So what we're going to do here today is I've got a lamp idea in my head. And I want to make this thing happen. It's a desk lamp. I'm very much into NeoPixels. So they're addressable. WS2812, 2811, 2815 are the 12 volt versions. They're LED strips, and you can order them with various spacings, everything from 60 LEDs a meter up to 100 LEDs a meter. So you can get some really good high density color LED lighting out of it. I actually have a YouTube channel video where I had done some NeoPixel addressable lights for my Christmas lighting in my front windows at one point. I do a lot of lamp building, retrofitting, etc. So today I want to build a couple of desk lamps, and I'm going to build them out of Baltic birch. I have some ideas in my head for a design that uses 3 layers of 12 millimeter Baltic birch that are sandwiched together for the upright, and a single layer of Baltic birch for the pedestal that it sits on. There's a couple of ideas that are floating in my head. I'm trying to decide how best I want to do it, but my ultimate goal is to be able to use 1/4 inch white opaque acrylic, translucent acrylic actually, that allows the LEDs to shine through and act as a diffuser, inserted into the slots on either side. So my milling is going to have to take that into account, as well as I want LEDs on both sides of the lamp. So we're going to go ahead and kick this video stream off by creating a sketch, and we're just going to select a plane. Basically, everything we're going to do today is for the purposes of creating DXF files that can be exported into a file on the local hard drive and then imported into Estlcam and milled from there. So we'll go ahead and start out by creating a plane here, and I think I'm zoomed in too far, so we're going to see if I can fix that real quick. Let's yep, that's what's going on here. So hang on 1 second. I will fix my video stream. I think it's my window is not set to stream at the correct resolution. Might have to briefly disrupt the stream while I make a change here. So my base canvas resolution. Yep, let me stop the stream. I'll be right back. Okay, we should be coming back up now. Okay, yep, we're definitely back. We are now running the stream in, maybe I need to share my entire display. Hang on 1 second, let me update that. It'd be easier to do it primary so that we get the all of the additional windows here. And disable the Fusion 360 sharing and just go to the primary desktop. You get to see all of my notifications. There we go. So we created a sketch. Yeah, there's a notification. We created a sketch. We're sitting in here. We haven't done anything with it yet. I know that I want my lamp to be somewhere between 18 and 24 inches tall, and that's a lot of height for a desk lamp. This is actually going to have a nice curve to it. 24 inches works out to just shy of 610 millimeters. You can do a conversion on basically any tool that you want to. I usually just pop over to Google and I do an inch to millimeter conversion. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by simply creating an arc. We're going to do so starting with just the line tool that right here, the fit point spline. We can start by going at the start point down here. We just left click, it creates a line, it's attached to our cursor, and we can do anything we need to from here. So we'll take this and we will drag it up. I kind of have an idea to make it sort of curled up and over. That's not what I wanted to do. So you're learning with me, right? So we're going to delete this. Just select it and delete. And we're going to start over now that I'm where I need to be, and I need to remember to use my middle mouse button for my drag. So I'm going to put that right up here. We're going to come over here. And we're going to zoom way out. Made that mistake, hit escape. Let's try this again. So we're going to come up here. There we go, that's more to my scale. And then we're going to come back over here. So this is about 500 millimeters. So let's come up here. We're going to do our curve. And then we're going to come over here. I think that looks pretty good for my desk lamp design for the initial arc. So once we put that in place, we can just double click at the end point and our arc is created. So we have this nice little curve here, and that's going to be the overall shape of the lamp. Since we're only creating the initial sketch here for this first piece, what we can now do is we can come along and parallelize this. So we can do what's called an offset. What we can do is we can take this and we select our curve here, and then we can select our offset position here. And what that will do is that will actually move an identically parallel line all the way through the curve, the exact width of what we choose. We can either do a negative or a positive value. So if I wanted to move it positive, I would do that, and you can see what it's going to end up doing. I actually want a little bit more than 2 inches of depth on this, so I'm actually going to go 55 millimeters, and that is the shape of my lamp. So I'm going to hit OK on this. Now, what I can do with this is I can choose to continue this line down here, and I just zoom in, and I can choose to bring that down to the baseline down here so that it stays parallel. And remember to double click to end your line, and you can see my line looks pretty nice there. And then just for giggles, I can add one line, straight line, top left tool here. That gives me a bottom to my shape. And then I can scroll up here, and I can also do the same for the top of this, or I can throw a circle on it. In this case, if I were to throw a circle on this, I would start somewhere between the middle here, and I'd get a rough idea of where it needs to be, just as long as all of my lines intersect. And there I go, I now have a shape. Now what's nice about this is I can just hit finish sketch here, and I can drag my view around, And you just see, it's a one-dimensional, two-dimensional sketch here, 2 dimensions, flatland. I can now extrude that shape, choose all of my stuff, and I now have a three-dimensional object. So I can do a full render this way just using the extrusion. I can shape it from here. I can do anything I want. In this case, I'm actually going to back that change out by hitting Control Z, which is revert the change. And I'm going to hit Control Z one more time, which is going to put me back into Sketch. It'll move me back until the point where I want to go. And my timeline down here will reflect all of those changes. Now, the other part that I want to do on this is all of this is going to be one overall shape, right? For the side view. But I don't want just a monolithic chunk of Baltic birch visible here. And if you're just joining us, we're looking at about 2 feet tall. We're looking maybe 10 inches deep from here to here. And the light source is actually going to be from about here to the tip. And then this is what's going to shine down on our work surface. Since I'm using colored LEDs, I want part of this light to be visible because the diffuser is going to provide that additional lighting for me. So what we can do now is we can come along and we can create another curve. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. What we can do is we can do another offset, and we can do this offset here. Let's go 12 millimeters. We can actually go a little bit deeper than that. In my case, I want about 15. And there's my alternate line. And then we can do one more here. Come on. You're not going to let me select you? Oh, because it's been offset already. So I have to select this one again. You learn, right? So I did 15 on the first one. We know that we are 55 millimeters in width based on the line down here that shows that dimension plus what I put in earlier. So if I moved 15 here and I want 15 from this side, I need to set this at 40. Perfect. Okay, so at this point, I now have two parallel lines here. And now I can come along and somewhere in the middle of this, I can just build my little circle, right? And my circle will provide an intersect on the line. And I'm going to show you what I'm using these for. So I do the same thing right about here. And what my end goal, apparently I'm too far to the left. What my end goal is to turn these shapes into, I don't remember how to find the center between these two lines. I'll figure it out eventually, right? I want to be able to come along here and do this thing here. So hang on one second. Apparently my video appears to be private, and I do not want it to be private. Edit. Well, it's public. Let me get the updated share link. And let me go edit this. Yeah. Share, that's why. There we go. So you can see what I'm doing here, and what my goal is this space will not be milled, or will not be here. It will actually be milled out of this so that I have just this channel and this channel. I'll eventually get there, and I'm learning how to make that work. But for right now, I think we can do monolithic. Yeah, I don't want to do that. You go away. Let's see. You're not going to let me do that, so we'll just Control Z out everything. And you can see I don't have a connection to this line here. So if I zoom in, yeah, my connection is not there. That's why. Okay. So what we're going to do here then is we're actually going to use this to create the diffusion channels. So I have my shape here. I see what I want to do. So now what I want to make happen is I want to do the same thing here. So I need at least 6.5 millimeters of curvature or space between this line and here. So 15 minus 6.5, we're going to add another parallel. What am I at? 9, 8.5. Okay. And then 15 plus 6.5. So this is 40 plus 6.5. So if I do one more parallel, there we go. So these two are potential diffusion channels so that I have the acrylic set back a little bit further. And then in between will be a strip of Baltic birch that is a little bit narrower than this so that I can do LEDs on both sides. So now what we can do is we can take this, and the one thing that I know that we have to do on this is to come along here and stop the lines roughly where I want the light channels to end. And what this is going to do is give me a piece of the sketch that I can raise and mill independently, right? So this will be solid wood, but I want the diffuser here to go all the way through. So I will also block this off and block this off. And that way the diffuser is embedded in the cap that I'll eventually end up milling out of this. So basically that's my shape. I don't need this piece down here or this space down here because they're not closed off. Okay. So now if we were to finish sketch and try to do our extrusion, I need to select what I want to extrude, which is this shape and this shape. And I can extrude out by, well, if we're going to be 36 millimeters, we'll just do, that'll be my overall width of my lamp. And this will actually be a separate piece that inserts in as part of the center channel, or it will actually be milled as part of the center channel. So let's actually back up and take a look at that. I'm really not good at this, so bear with me all. So what I want to do is come along here and say you are end cap and you are end cap. And remember to double click on your pointer, hit escape. So now that's my end cap and how it will assemble. It's actually going to be part of the center piece. So this will all be one piece when it's milled out as the separate piece. So yeah. Now let's take a look at it extruded. Let's go 36 for my width. And apparently I forgot to extrude that little piece there. But that's fine. We're just showing what it looks like extruded out. Not a very stylish lamp. Anyway, yeah. So what'll happen is I will mill out this shape with all of this. Here, let's do this. I'm holding down Control so I can multi-click. So all of this will be milled out, and this will be pocketed so that I have about half the width of the material, so about 6 millimeters deep, into one face of the shape on both of these. And then what I can do is I can cut thin strips of the acrylic that I have on the table saw, insert them in, put a centerpiece in which is shaped just like this cap with this centerpiece all the way down. And then I can put the other identical piece like this on top, but the pockets are on the opposite side. It's a mirror image. The other thing that I want to do is to be able to come along here and um, insert dowels to hold everything. So I can just right click and hit edit sketch again. And now what I want to do is I'm going to use 1/4 inch maple dowels in the birch. I think that'll look nice. So I can just go 6.35 and find somewhere in the center here. Close enough. I'll eventually, again, figure out how to go centered between that line. Actually, I know how to do that. You're watching me learn. So we're just going to cheat and use this tool again. We know we're at 55 width, right? So half of 55 is 27.5. I'm not good at math in my head. Okay, so now there's the center. Now I can just go, hey, you 6.35. Tap a dowel in. You 6.35. Let's throw another one in right about here. I'll have to figure out how to measure the spacing between those at some point. 6.35 and one here. And finally, wouldn't you know it, I have a circle right here to play with. I think that's the center of it. Nope, that is not. It's the other one. There you go. So those are all of my points that will tie all of the sides together. And now that I have those, I no longer need that line. Just select it and hit delete key. We can do the same for these. The problem is it deletes the entire shape. And so I need to figure out how to trace that line. And I think the easiest method is to just come up here. What's going to happen is when you go to export this and try to mill inside that shape, I've had issues with that, and maybe it's just me, but I've had issues where Estlcam will not recognize that as a shape. And so I have to either manually do curve tracing or things like that. So what I've found is that I can just go here, here, and you just follow the line. And what you want to do is you want to create the same exact shape as best you can. And it looks like we're not going to be 100% perfect there. Oh yeah, we're fine there. Okay. It doesn't like that shape. Why doesn't it like that shape? Okay, let's try that again. So we're going to start right here. I think we just need to be closer together on our traces. And we can adjust that here in a bit. So we can do that by adjusting. Oh, you're not going to let me do that easy. Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, what's it doing here? It doesn't like that, does it? What is that all about? You know, I don't want that to not be perfect, but I have a feeling it's not going to be perfect. Oh well. Somebody will show me how to fix that. And so we do the same here. We just go here, here. Still get our nice little curve. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay. So now I can come down here. I'll hit the escape key to get my regular mouse back. I'll select that and I'll hit delete. And you'll see I still have my curve and my shape. And I don't need that one either. So now that gives me a place to pocket. And I don't have to worry about Estlcam giving me crap. So we do the same on this one. We just select the little fit point spline up here. And we just follow the same process. Just use our mouse wheel. Click and hold to drag around. And we double click. And rinse and repeat fit point spline. There's probably automated ways to do this. Okay. So that is done. Now we select that, we go yoink and yoink. The only reason we have to do that is, again, to get rid of that additional line in there because it's not going to be conducive to a good mill, at least in my experience. So at this point, we have our general shape, but I don't want additional lines. So we're going to yank that out of there. We know where that shape is going to be. I'm going to yank that out of there. And I think we kind of have to do the same thing. Only this time we're just going to do this. We're going to be a little closer together on this because the further you get, the more off your line is between your next click. And so that might be why I was having issues on the other one. So actually let's do this. Let's escape. I don't want a down curve there. So I think I have to, yeah, there we go. Close enough. Now I can delete that. I have my shape. That's basically what my mill is going to look like. So now I can just hit finish sketch. I can come up here and I can right click and I can go save as DXF. So I'm going to drop that on my desktop in a little folder called CNC Projects Desk Glowy Thingy. We're going to call that our side. Done. Now we can open up Estlcam and we can go File Open. and we can go desktop, CNC projects, desk glowy thing, and take a look at the side. We generated in millimeters, so we're going to select it, and you can see that is my cut on a roughly a 4 by 8 foot sheet. I can turn around and let's do a pocket here. So we're going to pocket that out, and because it's only 1/4 inch, we don't really need to, but we can choose to go peel it. Let's say we're using an 1/8 inch bit. We want that to be 6 mil because it's a 12 mil cut. We're going to hit the pocket button. We're going to let it do its thing. And then we also want to ensure that we're doing an overcut on the corners to make up room for the, oh, I keep forgetting the control scheme changes. Make room for the corners of the acrylic. We can do a second one, so we're going to do a hole here. We're going to do our overcuts. There we go. We're going to set that to peel. We'll pocket that. Oh, I suppose it helps if I choose my depth, 6 mil. And then now we can come along and we're going to do a helical drill here. And we want that to be 12 mil for the depth. 12, 12, 12. Wash, rinse, repeat, right? 12. So that's it. Other than a part on the outside, no, I don't want to do that. Go away. Let's do a part. Tool path is 13. Holding tab length is 5 mil. 1.25 thick. And then we can toss a finishing tool on that. So let's just say we're using the 1/4. And then we can go, yeah, toss some holding tabs on there. That's it. Let's figure out what this guy's doing. There we go. And that's it. I'm ready to cut and mill that. All from a Fusion 360 sketch that, other than some mistakes, really only took, what, 10, 15 minutes at the most, not even. So it's not difficult to get through the sketch design. Where my issues always were was how to get multiple sketches in the same design to be exportable independently rather than a single. That's actually really easy. So we have this nice little sketch here. We're going to call it sketch 1. What we can do is we can actually go and create a new component, and we're going to name this side 1. Okay. And then now that we've created side 1, we can actually drag this guy down. My drag's not going to work for me. So, okay, why aren't you going to work for me? Let's do it this way. There we go. So drag sketch 1 down into the component, okay? Because we want this to be a separate component in our design. We can now minimize that, and I think we can just right click and choose copy on this one. And now we can go new component, side 2. And I believe we can right click and I don't see the paste. Of course not. Let's see if I can copy it down here. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. I'll have to figure out how to do that. I did it the other day and I can't for the life of me remember. Okay, well, let's go look at component 1. Okay, let's go back to component 2. Still visible in the background. I still want all of this accessible to here. So I think I can copy the sketch, and I think I can do a new sketch on the same plane. And yeah, there it is, paste. Okay, so now I've got my duplicate sketch. That's the piece I was missing. Okay, so we've done all of this, and what I want to do now is drag it over a little bit more because this is going to be an exact mirror image. I can do this in Estlcam, but what I want to do here is get my entire design into a single drawing so I can do updates on it. So now I'm going to hit OK on that. And this is my new side 2. Now what I can do is I can turn around and I can mirror it, I can flip it, I can rotate it. Let's see if I can move copy. I don't want to do that. I want to, where is it? Rotate, point to position, translate. I think that's what I want to do. No, that's not what I want to do. I think that is. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm missing a piece here. That's the piece. Move. Well, will it let me do it? Oh, my wife is calling me. I'll ignore her for right now. Don't tell her I said that. Where is it? Because this is my rotate. Oh, I'm not in 3D space. I'm still in flatland. That's why. That's throwing me for a loop. There's a way to flip it. I don't remember it. We'll get there eventually. And then there's the center design. Is also, it's the same basic shape, but what it's going to do is it's going to, I'm actually going to build it based on this. So let's just leave side 2 alone. I'll show you how we can use the original sketch to mock up the new sketch as well. So we're done here. Now we're going to create a new component. We're going to call it center. And we're now in our new space. So we can hide the original sketches simply by unchecking the visibility here. And I made my component in the wrong spot, so I didn't want it to be a subcomponent. I'm just going to drag it up here, and it will move it back to my list of components. So you can see as I collapse things down, excuse me, that I have all of my pieces. You can nest them. That's not going to hurt anything, but you don't need to. The only way you would do that is if you were making multiple assemblies in here, um, or you wanted to keep your assemblies and your components grouped together based on their overall design. So now, since I have this design here, I no longer need to see side 2.1. I only want side 1.1 because I'm going to come along here and I'm going to recreate a large part of this. So this will be the same basic thing. We're just going to go ahead and create a sketch on this plane, and then we are going to do our regular line for the base because this needs to be down here. And we're just going to zoom in so we can tie it right to the edge of that. Good. We're going to come up here and we're going to go. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to come here and we're going to do this. Make sure that my lines line up. Okay. And here's where we get to have some fun. So what I want is I want my, no, that's not what I wanted. I want my acrylic. Let's make sure I move that to the right spot. It's not quite right. There we go. So I want my acrylic to be embedded so that you don't see the edge of the end of the acrylic. So now I want to bring this up to, say, about here to give me some room for LEDs. And now I can continue with my curve. And so I'll come back later and I'll add that notch here. Actually, you know what? I'm doing it now. Let's just go ahead and do that. Let's Control Z that. And we need to add that anyway. So let's go here to, let me use the line of, let's just go here, because I can make this work the way I want. Okay. Now we're going to come down here. Zoom in a little closer. There we go. Zoom over here. And since this isn't going to be visible, what we'll do is we'll actually bring this back here so that we can get our LEDs down a little bit lower. So now we can bring our LED channels in here. And we can come up here. And now we can add our fit point spline, which will be roughly following the curve. And make sure that we leave enough material here, which we're not going to because I didn't take that into account. Oh well. That's not quite right either. We'll fix it in post. Video editing joke. Giving me a curve I don't like. That's fine. We'll fix you later. You're going to do some weird things for me here. Okay. So, hit escape there. There we go. We can adjust our curves just a little bit. Drag it up out of the way. There we go. That looks better. Get a little more. Yeah, you can see I'm still learning a lot of this. It's not hugely difficult. It's just learning how certain tools interact. And we can make things pretty. And the nice part about this is that we can then do the same thing we did earlier, which is select this curve and do this lovely little thing. And we're going to move that 8 millimeters. We're going to do that to take into account these guys here. So we actually need to move that 10 mil in order to take all of those into account. It's fine. We're going to hit OK there. So this is our center. Now what we need to do is take this and, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this guy. Oh, you're all linked together, aren't you? Because you're, yeah, because we did an offset. Both of them are going to move when we try to edit one. Okay, that's fine. So now we're also going to do the same thing here. We want this shape. Zoom in until you can actually control the cursor. This feels so amateurish. Give me an engine, I can work on an engine. But this, man, there are some pros out there that are freaking out right now and they don't know why. They're not even on YouTube. They're just like, what the hell, dude? I know it. I know it. There we go. Okay. So out. So here is, there we go. Make that follow the curve a little bit better. And we can always sand it, aka fix it in post. So now the other thing that we need to do is we want to make sure that we are taking into account we're just going to do a manual line trace here. We're just going to bring this up here, bring this up here, because we want to bring the acrylic into the end cap. And we need to zoom in and get closer. I'm like way zoomed in here. Okay, so we're almost at the right level. Okay. Now, so this will be where we would go. I actually went too far in that. There we go, because I want the LEDs to extend past the acrylic. So my LEDs are actually going to end right about here so that the entire strip of acrylic is lit up. So they'll be tucked back here, and this will be what our strip looks like. And so we get to do the same on the top. And I think, yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. And then we just got to make sure our lines are tied together, and they are not. So you're going to make me do this manually. Okay, let's zoom back out, because my end goal here, and I need to go fix that on the other end here. Yeah, that's why. My end goal here is to make sure that all of my lines touch. Because if they don't touch, Estlcam does not like it. Okay, I'm gonna bring that over here. Bring that, I did a high point here. So I'll bring it up to about here. I'll bring you down to about here. Okay. And then we will do our line tracing, and then we can go back up and finish the rest. So we're gonna do here. Close enough. Because that sketch is not actually here, I can't do a direct line clamp on it with the endpoint. I don't know if that's the right term, but that's what I call it, where it will lock onto that line. I think we're good to just go to the end now. Not quite. I didn't realize I was zoomed in that close when I was putting those points down, so it looks kind of not good. No judgment, please. And drop there. I'll fix you guys later. Let's uncheck side 1. And I don't yet have this tied in. So let's put side 1 back. And I know you're not pretty, but okay. Yeah, you're not gonna lock on that. Okay. 90 degrees. Okay. Bring you back to here. Bring you back to here. Bring you back to here. And I now have my center shape, which is not going to mill worth a damn at all. But that's because I need more depth if I'm going to embed the acrylic as far back from the lip as I am. I don't want any screws visible. I don't want any hardware visible. I just literally want wood and acrylic visible. So this is basically what this looks like. And then if we hide the side, kind of looks like a warped dandelion. We can finish the sketch and we can do an extrusion on that just to see what it looks like. So let's give it a 10 mil extrusion. And that'll basically be what that strip of, not counting the little holes in the center here, which I need to actually add, but that'll basically be what the strip of Baltic birch down the center of the lamp will look like, along with that on the other side. So the LEDs will sit in this channel here against that birch. The acrylic will sit here, and then this will just be open air and birch on the, or just open air with a gap for the acrylic that sits in this. So it'll be 3 layers. There will be a finish layer on this side and a finish layer on the other side. You can make them 3 mil, 6 mil. In my case, all I have on hand right now is 12 mil. So that'll be what I have to do. So what I can do here now is I can actually go select this guy, and I can do an extrude on that and go -12. Let's see. You're not going to let me do it, are you? Why aren't you going to let me do it? Let's do this. -12. There we go. Okay, see if I can get a good angle on this, and then we will come back here and just select all. So with all of my layers together, except for this other side, that is basically what it will look like, along with a couple of 1/4 inch dowels. Just push through. You'll see some end grain. You can stain it, you can paint it, you can do whatever you want with it. And then the stand is going to be just a really straightforward stand. So that'll just be a new component that I create. And it's just going to be, well, sort of, let's do this. Let's go, something just simple. Let's create a new sketch on the same plane. And let's hide. We don't need this guy. We don't need this guy. Why are you still here? Center. I don't know why you're still visible. That's fine. So the stand will basically be something like this. So we're just gonna do a quick and dirty something. Maybe that angle's too much. Let's go back here. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. And then we could just do here to here. And we'll just drop a line down to here. And then here. And then what we can do is we can go this way. Just select it all. Mirror, everything's selected. We go to the mirror line and we choose this. Come on. You're not gonna let me select you? What? That's what I want. Select the mirror line. There we go. Okay, so there's that, and I hit OK. And now I no longer need you. You go away. And here's the cool thing I learned, because I would have extruded this and then softened the edges in the 3D model. But reality is you can actually do a fillet right here. So I can select that, and I can set, let's do 25 millimeters. I can do a bulk select. I can do 25. And then we can do, let's do 15, see what you look like. No, I want a little more angle on you. There we go. We can even just do a corner like that and just select that corner. And we can do, there you go. We have a nice little 10 mil radius, and we can do all of this. Not gonna let me bulk. Yeah, you're gonna fight me. And we can see that that shapes that way. And then just to soften these two, what we can do is we can go fillet. We can go, let's do 15. A little more curve. Actually, I want to do 25. See what you look like. There we go. So that's my stand. I can do a rectangle, do a center rectangle, and I know that my depth here is 55 mil. So if I actually machined this so that it had a square insert, then what I can do is I can just come up here and go, 55, and my width would be 36. And then when I milled that, all I would have to do is just make sure I did overcuts in the corners, and I'm done. So I hit finish sketch on this. I know that the depth on this is going to be 12 mil, and that's what my base looks like. When you mill it out of Baltic, you're pretty good. You can throw little rubber caps on the bottom here on each one of these, and then your lamp base would just insert in, especially if you milled. Let's do the side here. Especially if you were to come along here and make you visible. Do a square relief cut here so that it matched that 55 by 36 there. Your relief cut would be notched here, 12 millimeters deep. You could do a direct press fit insert if you wanted to. The other thing that I've seen done is where they'll do a much narrower press fit type thing where it slots in. They'll come up here and do something like, let's edit the sketch. You're not gonna let me do it that way. Let's do it this way. We'll extend this. We'll extend this. Edit sketch. And we want, let's do 37. Just hit tab to select that field. We're now locked by 12. Okay. So that'll actually be our lower tab, And then what we can do is we can come back here and we can go yoink to yoink right there. We can do the same on the other side. And since we know that this line, oh, that's not what I wanted. This is where we just need to come down here and just drag our line and make sure that our line takes all of that into account. So we can go delete that. We don't need that anymore. If we delete that, we delete that whole left side. So we're going to Control Z that. And that's where, when we're tracing those lines manually, we need to make sure that we have some of our complicated stuff here done first, so that this line isn't hanging out on the bottom of your Estlcam drawing where you'd see an actual line down here and it doesn't know what to do with that because it sees it as a drawing, as part of the drawing. But this would directly slot into that base, and it would even leave you a little bit of a place to run a small screw up right next to the end of that. So when you're looking at um, your stand, you would just come along here and you would mill in. You'd still want your 36 width because of the 3 layers, but you'd only need that length of 37 here. So let's edit the sketch. And then let's actually move you up here. So 37 by 36. And now we can come along here and go, hey, you get a little tiny screw right there. We're going to make you 4 mil width. And you also get one right there. Well, give me the numbers. Thank you. So now, when you put all that together and you slot your stand in, your centerpiece will have this on it as well. And in the process of slotting that in, you'll be able to just run a single screw up through here and here. Now, the other nice piece about that is with this tab here that's going to be milled or going to be cut out in the corner here, you can actually mill that down on the sides just a little bit in order to narrow this width and hide the fact that this is inserted into the board, into the stand. And what it will do is it will overhang all the way around the hole in the bottom. So it's sort of like mortising. You can actually mortise that in and just mill 2 millimeters off of this side here, 2 millimeters off of the other side. And when you do the insert, then everything's nice and solid in there. So that's it. We hit finish sketch on these, and what we can do is we can go actually select the sketch for all of our stuff. And just make sure our sketches are visible. We can hide the bodies. We don't want to see those. Hide the bodies. Ha ha ha, bad joke. And so now, because each of these is a component, it can be exported individually. It's a single sketch that we can now do what we need to do for exporting as a DXF. So we can save as DXF and we can call this stand. It'll save that. We can go find our center. Where's my oh, it's because I'm not viewing the center. There we go. So now we can select the center and we can save as DXF. So we'll do that. And then once I flip this over, I can either do that or I can come into Estlcam. And again, I can sit here and go tile. I want one of you, confirm it, and then I can go flip and rotate. And we will move you up. It's not a good lamp design, but you see what it does. And then I might even have room to insert the stand in the center. Oh, I must have exported that wrong. That's fine. We're gonna move the DXF. Yeah, I exported that wrong, so that's fine. I probably have room to fit all of this in here if this was a separate piece. So we can just do File, Insert. And you are my other DXF. And what I want to do is I want to rotate you. Maybe not that far. Move. And I could fit this in there if I were ambitious enough right now. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Yeah, check it out. Do your drawings, and once you have the DXF, you can just export it, drop it into Estlcam, you're good to go.